What is going on, everybody? Teddy Baldassarre here, and in this video we are going to continue our series of looking at watches that appeared in movies, television, and start with part 2 of this series. So again, please leave comments down below about other watches that appeared in movies. I think this is just going to be an ongoing series. There's so many movies out there and watches that have made appearances in them. So it's really helpful to see what you guys want to see mentioned in future videos in the comments down below. But guys, let's get going. So it is always great when a watch is shown with historical accurate context, and that is done perfectly with Christopher Nolan's 2017 film, Dunkirk. The watch featured in this film is the Omega CK2129, a watch in which only 200 were actually produced, all for the Royal Air Force during World War II. The watch features a caliber 23.4 SC, a large groove metal bezel, and sharp black numerals for legibility, as of course this was made for pilots. However, why I really admire this watch in this movie is in its application. This is not a simple product placement like many movies that you'll see nowadays, but one that is historically relevant. In a scene, Tom Hardy's character actually uses the timing bezel of the watch to help judge how much time he has left in the air following his fuel gauge being compromised in a dogfight. It's a really cool watch, epitomizes this really hard time that humankind was really going under during World War II, and shows the close attention to detail that Christopher Nolan always takes to mind when he is creating a film. So for this next watch, it's kind of a weird thing that I would never have expected, but you have Doctor Strange, a Marvel movie with JLC, a brand that I would never imagine associate with a Marvel movie, but it happened. Doctor Strange was released in 2016, is one of the more unique Marvel movies. Doctor Strange, played by Benedict Cumberbatch, chooses to wear his JLC Master Ultra Thin Perpetual. This watch is powered by an automatic 868-1 movement, features a 39mm case with dolphin hands, perpetual calendar, year, moon phase, and other functions, and comes in with a price point of $19,000. And this watch is just simply beautiful. Simple as that, and it actually worked out. Never would have thought a JLC watch in a Marvel movie would, but hey, well done, Doctor Strange. Like Marty McFly's calculator watch that I mentioned in part 1 of this series, and if you have not seen part 1 of this series, I will definitely link to it in the description down below. This next watch here exudes the same level of 80s charm. It's the Seiko M516 Voice Note. The watch made a feature in the 1984 film Ghostbusters and was worn by the entire Ghostbusters crew. The watch, of course, leaves a lot to be desired in terms of its horological significance, yet its quirky style that embodies the era as well as its ability to record audio makes it an iconic movie watch to mention. Finding one of these watches in decent condition nowadays is actually a pretty impossible task. However, if you can find one, you will most likely be paying over $1,000 for one, which is pretty wild considering that this was a very cheap watch when it was first brought to the market. So our next watch is a watch that I hear referred to as usually 2 separate names, the Elvis watch or the Men in Black watch. The watch's official name, though, is the Hamilton Ventura and was introduced to the market back in 1957. It quickly grew in popularity, partly because it was the favorite of young Elvis Presley. In fact, Hamilton still offers versions of this watch today that bear the name of the famous rock star. However, this watch got a second wind of popularity after Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith both wore one in Men in Black back in 1997. The version that they wore was the Ventura XXL, featuring a larger triangular case that Elvis made famous years prior. And the watch is still, again, offered by Hamilton and is still one of their better selling watches to this day. And now finally, similar to our Dunkirk example, we have the most iconic watch that Omega has ever produced, the Omega Speedmaster. There are many attributes of this watch that are noteworthy. However, the popularity and lore surrounding this watch stems from its connection to the Apollo space missions. As the space race was in full effect, NASA was looking for watches to feature on the wrists of their astronauts to assist in their new expedition to space. Several brands like Rolex, Breitling, Hamilton submitted watches, but it was Omega that was chosen by NASA. The watch accompanied the wrists of astronauts during the Gemini and Apollo space missions, and the watches were best represented on the big screen in Ron Howard's 1995 film, Apollo 13. The whole crew was wearing one of these, as well as, the astronauts during the actual mission itself many years prior. And when you're looking to buy one, I still think the Omega Speedmaster has been and currently still is one of the best deals when it comes to luxury watches. All right, guys, so those are 5 other watches that made appearances in movies. absolutely want to keep going with this series. I think there's a lot of different movies to check out, and I know there's a lot of ones that I wasn't able to include here. So please leave comments down below about other watches that you would like to see in future episodes of this series. Guys, if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, hit the bell icon. On top of that, go ahead, check out my Instagram, follow me there, fill out the watch form, be entered to win the watch giveaway. And finally, if you want to support this new generation of watch lovers, go to our Patreon. Any support there would be greatly appreciated. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Be well, and I will see you all very soon.